Welcome, welcome, welcome. A free MacBook. It's not free, not quite free. Nothing in this life is free. Hey, if you could see me clearly, can you put a thumbs up in the chat? This is an audio check and a video check. Audio check, video check, Facebook. If you're on Facebook, let me know. If you're on YouTube, let me know if you can see me. Cool, Jed, you're back on YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, thank you. Got some folks on StreamYard. Great. Let's see if we get somebody on Facebook that comes in and chimes in. Let's see. See if I can find my own live stream. This is the first time I'm doing this, so it might be imperfect, and that's okay. Awesome. I think we're live on all platforms. We'll wait a few minutes, let some people hop in. Excited for today. Let me share my screen. Let's see if you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see that? You see the words MacBook giveaway 2 p.m. Awesome. Jamal says he can't hear or see anything. Is he lying to me? Cool. Mohammed, you're being honest. I appreciate you. Awesome. A few minutes. I'm going to switch tabs too. Let's see if we switch tabs. Again, this is all new. You see that? I just switched to the Automation Station Premium Community. Can you guys see that? Nice. All right, cool. I think we're good. StreamYard's cool. I nerd out over this stuff. I've seen people use it, but I've never used it before. It's pretty intuitive, but it's also pretty expensive. So, all right, cool. We've got some more people joining in the chat here. We're gonna have fun today. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna give away a MacBook, and I'm also going to build something live using N8N, like most of you who follow me are familiar with. I use N8N to build no-code automations for business owners, for myself, integrate, go high level N8N, VAPI, retail, some voice AI providers. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's new. It's very popular. And I think it's important. We're going to go over some fundamentals today, and I think it's important to do that. So we got 30 people in the stream right now. It's almost 2 o'clock. Wait one more minute. I wish I had some music here, but again, this is all new. So let's see. We got Gabe, Liam. Hey, if you're an annual member, if you're a Automation Station, actually, if you're just a premium member, if you're in the premium community right now, just type premium in the comments, in the comment section. We have people on Facebook. We have people on YouTube. We have people here directly on StreamYard. So if you're a premium member, just type premium in the comments, just so I know who we have in here. There we go. Kirsty, Krishna, Dax, Roddy. Welcome. You guys are great. Yeah, these are early adopters into the premium community. Action takers. Liam, premium member on YouTube. Welcome. Michael's an action taker too. He's out there getting clients and building agents for people, which is great. Cool. All right, awesome. And if you're not a premium member, you're still welcome here. This is a live stream. Again, we're going to do a live build. And so I'm going to go over some fundamentals, give you an idea of what the premium community is about. You don't have to join. However, you do have to join if you want to win a MacBook Pro. Sorry, Air. I'm not giving away a Pro. Those are too expensive. But if you want to win a MacBook Air, you do have to be an annual member and in the premium community. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. But you don't have to join. Don't be a gambler and just join because you want a MacBook Air. It won't be worth it. Trust me. But if you're already thinking about this, I think this is a good time to join, and I'll explain why here in a second. Now, all right, here we go. So it's 2 o'clock, and I value my time, as you guys know, in the live calls, and I value your time. But the reason we are all here today is to give away this MacBook Air to one lucky annual member inside of the premium community. An annual member specifically will win this. And actually, this is a 15-inch MacBook Air. I was going to be cheap. My wife told me not to be cheap, but I was going to be cheap and get you the 13-inch base model MacBook Air, but went the opposite end of the spectrum and bought a 15-inch, not the entry level, but the most beefy one. I don't think I increased the hard drive size, but it's beefy enough for you to do automation stuff, for you to create content if you want to create content. And so I'm excited to give this away. I wish I would have thought this out better, because in my luck, we're going to draw this. We're going to do the drawing, and I'm going to give it away to somebody who lives in like South Africa. And it's going to cost me even more in shipping, when I probably shouldn't have bought it and just let it ship directly from Apple. But whatever, it's fine. All right, cool. So here is what we're going to do. All right. So I've got these slides here, and enough of my face, but here are the agendas. We're going to go over the rules, and I'm going to announce the surprise, because the surprise is important for this entire event. Okay. So rules, we're going to go over the automation station premium overview, just so I could show you what's in the community, what you can expect. I truly want people to make the right decision. I don't want you to join because of scarcity. One of the surprises, I am going to discount it just for this live stream. So that's only going to be live between now and the time I end this live stream, maybe 5 minutes later if I forget. But I don't want you to join because of the price. I don't want you to join because you want a MacBook. I want you to join because you are interested in learning fundamentals, specifically around automation, no-code automation, N8N, voice AI, the stuff I make content about on YouTube. If you don't follow me already on YouTube, if you don't subscribe, go ahead and search my name, Justin Melendez, on YouTube, and you'll see me. Go ahead and subscribe. There's a ton of free content in there. And we have a free community where I give away a bunch of free stuff in there as well. So that might be better suited. However, if you see yourself joining the premium community, today is a good day to do that. Next thing we're going to do is go over live N8N build. And this is going to be funny, because I think this is going to be interesting, but I think other people may not think it's interesting. But trust me, stick around, because we're going to go over some really, really important fundamentals while we build this stuff in N8N. So lastly, we're going to do the MacBook drawing. Okay. Now, rules, keep it simple, stupid. I say this all the time, and I don't always follow it. Okay. So right here, we're going to give away one MacBook Air to an annual member who was part of the first 100 members. That's a mouthful. One MacBook Air to one annual member who was part of the first 100 members. Now, fun fact, I think there are only like 54 of you, right? So the odds are pretty dang good. And so I'm excited for that. Why are you here? You're like, well, if you're only giving away, I thought this was a giveaway to like the public. Well, no, it was for an annual member, but I wanted to give you a chance to also win a MacBook Air. So now today, instead of giving away one MacBook Air, I'm going to give away two MacBook Airs. Why? Because I want to give people a chance to come into the premium community. If you're currently a monthly member of the premium community, I want to give you a chance to upgrade. And so I'm going to give away two MacBook Airs. All right. And I say it all the time inside of my on my YouTube channel, and sometimes in the live calls. I'm a C student, and if I had thought about this earlier, I probably would have saved myself a ton of money and a ton of heartache. And I said I was going to keep it simple, but I'm not going to keep it simple. Now, I realized one thing. If I opened up the floor to for people to join, and I added them to the raffle, well, then I'd be disincentivizing the first 100 action takers, right? Or the first 54 action takers. That would suck. It would decrease the odds. Like, I'm no mathlete, but I know if it's 54, then you have pretty good odds. But if it's 55, it starts to dilute. And so the reason I decided to give away two is because the first drawing is going to go to the first 100 people, really the first 54 people who bought annual memberships as a part of the first 100. They're going to get their own drawing. And then anybody who joins on the stream, and there should be a QR code and links over here for you to join. Anybody who joins on the stream, right before we do the second drawing, I'm going to download that list. We're going to do the second drawing, and we're going to give away another MacBook Air. So the early action takers actually have two chances to win. The only person who can't win is the person who won the first one. Okay. So awesome. Now, well, I guess I was supposed to announce that there. That's fine. Now, the people who are currently monthly members have an annual price, okay? And there's a way to upgrade to annual in school. If you come into right here, here's a help doc. There's a help doc. If you just Google how to upgrade my membership to annual. Now, if you do that, you're not going to get the special pricing. I've reduced pricing just for this stream down from $570 a year to $420 a year. And if you already paid $570, just shoot me a DM and I'll give you your money back so that you're in at $420. But if you're already on that plan, it's going to make you upgrade at the price that you're at. I don't know how to change it. That's fine. Just DM me and we will square you away. I'll make it right. Okay. So if you choose to upgrade, that's how you can do it. What else? Any other ground rules? Awesome. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Not so simple. If you join during the call, annual members, you will get a chance to win a MacBook Air. If not, we're going to do a live build. You're going to get value out of this anyway. Have fun with me on a Friday just before Memorial Day. All right. So just a quick, let's see. What do we have here? Automation. Okay. Don't join if all you want to do is win a MacBook. It's not worth it. Yeah, I promise you it's not worth it because I'm not going to give a MacBook away every week. So if you're joining just for that, you're going to request a refund. It just creates work for everybody. But join if you're here and you want to learn. So, yep. Special pricing, $420 a year. That should be live. Let me make sure that's live. Let me see. Let me pull this over here. Let's see, pricing. Yep, that pricing is live. So you should see $67 a month or $420 a year, which is like a 48% discount. But inside of the premium community, all it is we have some exclusive content. I have some courses that I've put together specifically on voice AI at the moment. And then, oh, that wasn't supposed to show, but this is the next course that we're releasing for annual members only. But this is essentially a breakdown of self-liquidating offer. If you don't know what that is, if that's just a technical term, don't worry about it. I'm going to cover that in the course. Also have a ton of resources. Inside of this YouTube resources section, there are probably over 50 or 60 N8N templates, and a few of them are annual only. And that'll become more and more of a theme. Because people are downloading stuff, taking it, making it their own, which I actually don't mind. But some folks are distributing exact copies of some of these templates. And it's just, it just creates a bad environment. Now, there are some other things in here like our meta ad library scraper and a cold email, and then some templates that we use to sign up members. We also have a community that's pretty active. We're still new, but we're very active. People are coming back and forth. They're commenting, they're getting questions asked. And probably the most valuable thing is 2 calls a week. Okay. And this week we had 3. And I think next week, no, not next week, the week after, we're going to have 3 because we have a special guest. But on Wednesdays and on, oh, Charlie, welcome. Wednesdays and Saturdays, we have people who, we have Q&As, all right? We come in, we talk about technical stuff. We have a workshop going on right now where we are building voice agents live, okay, on Wednesdays. So we'll continue to do that. I'll add more calls if people choose to come, but I think it's a good opportunity for people to get live tech help and for people to come in and build live. So that's enough of the premium community. Let me shut off my volume because every time somebody joins, it's pretty distracting. There's like a cash register sound. I don't think you guys can hear it, but awesome. Now, live build, what we're all here for. Not really. Everybody's here for the MacBook Air, but the live build is important because we are going to build an RNG. Who knows what an RNG is? Guess in the comments. What is an RNG? Can anybody tell me what an RNG is? Hey, Mark, you can upgrade. If you just Google on the school community, let me see if I can post it in here, how to upgrade. There you go. Here is how you can upgrade. I'll drop it in the comments. And then if you're already on a more expensive plan, let me know, and we can get you squared away. So let's see, remote something. Nope. Red, not green. That's good. I like that. That's for the colorblind. Nope. Random number generator. There you go. Eddie knows what RNG is. Eddie knows that it's a random number generator. Now, what a boring freaking topic. Random number generator. Well, I need a random number generator because we need to pick a winner for this MacBook Air. And you're probably like, yeah, dude, but if you would have just Googled like upload CSV, pick a winner, then you would have found something. Yeah, that's true. But then I would have given, school member data to some like random cloud provider. And we're in the business of building things, right? We're building automation. We're covering fundamentals. So what an opportunity to build this live with you. So we're going to build our own random number generator inside of N8N. And we're also going to have a little bit of fun with it. We're going to add some spice to it. So yep, Jacob, random number generator. You got it right. This is what I was so excited about. Everybody's probably like, dude, this dude's crazy. Another reason why I'm going over building a random number generator, okay? A lot of what I talk about in my community are fundamentals. I don't go over sales. I don't talk about different pricing tactics. People ask me about pricing. I share what I price my services at. But really what I'm focused on is implementation, is technical implementation. AI is so exciting, right? There's so many new things coming out right now that everybody wants to jump on it. Everybody is selling it. And what I'm seeing is, in the past, sales has been such a difficult thing, and it still is. It's especially for technical people. Sales is pretty hard. I could speak for myself, but people are selling things that they can't fulfill or that they have trouble fulfilling, or that they have trouble troubleshooting, if that's even the right way to say that. And so my community is focused on tech fundamentals. And the reason why we're building a random number generator today is I'll tell you a story. Probably about 7 years ago, I was in a job where I was used to working with Windows computers. Okay, Microsoft Word, Excel, kind of all that stuff, right? And then one day, the Army, this was my Army times, right? The Army decided to move me to another job where I had to deal with Linux computers, a completely different style of computers. No more start button, no more Microsoft Word, and everything looked like a terminal. It was just all a program. I had no clue how to use Linux. And so they stuck me in a room and they paid for like a course that was online, and they stuck me in the room and they were just like, hey, you have 3 months to learn how to use Linux. And I was like, well, okay, this sucks. All right. Well, so I sat there and for like 2 months, I was miserable. I'm not the type of person who can read a book end to end, interpret it, and then just like know how to use the thing. I have to like practically apply something. And so what I learned after like 2 months of spinning my wheels is I started to create little projects for myself, something that had a little bit of an end state, something that would give me a win or a result in order for me to learn the fundamentals, because I had to learn this in the next 3 months and I had already wasted 2 months. And so I put together little projects. I tried to connect two computers together. And once I did that, I was like, okay, cool. Now I know what this command line is. I try to create a file, I try to delete a file. And like, I just learned all these things through these micro projects. And so this random number generator is just another one of those micro projects, because there are tons of fundamentals involved in there. And I'm going to point them out as we go through them. Now, the same thing is true for creators on YouTube, right? There are folks like a few of my favorites, Nate Herc, Nick Sarayev, right? These guys, if you don't know who they are, go follow them on YouTube. They cover some amazing topics. But I talked about this in my community last week. People look at that, they watch it, and they're like, oh, cool, now I have this new widget. But they ignored all the fundamentals that were covered in that tutorial. And those fundamentals are what help you troubleshoot, are what help you customize, are what help you implement. The more you understand it, the more you can make it your own, the better you can sell it, the better you can fulfill it. All right, so enough of that. But projects for me help. So even if you create a small project, like maybe you want to automate sending a notification to your kids every day to take out the trash at 9 o'clock, right? Seemingly unimportant, probably not going to be profitable, but you're going to learn some things in the process. And so I encourage you to do it. All right. Now, that is the last slide. I hate slides. So let's see if I can find, here we go. TL draw. All right. So here's what we're going to do for the random number generator. N8N, live build. We need to do a few things. Okay. We need an automation. We need to generate a random number. That random number needs to be within the range of people, like the amount of people who are in the drawing for the MacBook Air. And then we need to have some fun, okay? And the fun part is I'm going to actually have an AI avatar that doesn't exist, that's like never, not a real person, announce the winner using HeyGen, okay? So we're going to do that together. So here we have a graphic for you visual learners like me. You've got automation. We need to pull from a database. We're going to use this school database here, and I have some random sample names here so that people don't get offended if they won the first time but they didn't win the second time. So we have the OG annual members, and then for those people who join midstream, we're going to go ahead and pull another list. And as a matter of fact, that reminds me, let me add a banner here to show you how to join. There you go. And so we're going to download another database, and then we're going to pull that database, modify our workflow, and then generate the random number again so that we can pick a winner. Once we do that, we're going to pick a winner. You're not going to see the winner, hopefully, if I don't leak it, but it's going to get sent over to HeyGen. And HeyGen is a service that's going to generate a AI avatar who's going to announce our winner. And that takes a few minutes. That's fine. We can talk. I can answer questions and stuff like that. So let me peek at the comments real quick before we get started. How do I upgrade? How do I upgrade? Hey, if somebody in the chat can help them upgrade, there is a link in there that I dropped in there to show you how to upgrade. So hopefully you can figure it out. Let's see. All right, cool. N8N, let's do it. So I'm here inside of N8N. If you are unfamiliar with N8N, N8N is a very powerful no-code automation tool. And what that means is like you don't need to be a computer scientist anymore. You don't need to be an application developer to develop applications. And more importantly, if you have two systems that don't talk to each other, N8N can live right cozy in the middle. It can serve as sort of the interpreter between the two systems so that they can chat with each other. So you can perform actions on one end and the other end. And the most common example is we are in our community, we focus a lot on voice AI agents. And so AI agents who answer the phone or maybe make phone calls, a lot of times there is a database on the other side. So a customer, think about a pizza shop. If a pizza shop has a receptionist that we replace with AI and it answers the call and it takes an order, well, that order needs to go somewhere. And it's probably their point of sale system, that little white box that you like tap your credit card in, right? Or maybe that little computer that's full of like flour at Papa John's that they're like, always poking at. You need to get that order from the phone call, from the phone recording, from the transcript, the point of sale system so that it actually prints out in that little receipt back there. And then the pizza maker starts spinning the dough and puts it through the oven, right? And so N8N can serve as that middle solution to help the voice AI agent provider and the point of sale system talk. All right, enough of that. We're going to create a new automation. Let's name this MacBook giveaway. And first thing we need for an automation is a trigger. What starts this automation? Okay. And in this case, we're going to trigger this manually. So us clicking it is actually going to trigger the automation. And that is going to suffice here. Next thing we need to do is we need to pull the database. Remember, we said we need to pull from a database, which is our Google Sheets. And so if I come over here and search for Google Sheets, you'll notice that there are some pre-made nodes. Okay, these are referred to as nodes, or if you're familiar with another platform called make.com, they call these modules. But if we go over here and we pop open to the Google Sheets category, you see there's like pre-built nodes that we can just pick from. And one of them is get rows in sheet. And that's what we're going to look for right here, because that's going to pull all the data from our Google Sheet. And then we can manipulate that data. We can evaluate that data. We can do things with that data. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm just going to go ahead and select my sheet, and this is the school database, and we're going to deal with the sample sheet. Okay, cool. I didn't mean to open that up. Sample sheet. Now, if I do that with no filters, it should pull everything. And let's see if that's right. So I just click test this step, and you see we have 10 items. If I come in here, we actually have 10 items. This shows 11, but the first one is the row. And that's an important concept, right? This is a foundational concept. If we were creating this in code, we would have to account for this header here, but we're not going to account for that header. So we have all the rows. You see numbers 2 through 11. We have these random names, and now we can do something with this data. You see here, I'm going to try to zoom in just in case it's small, but it gave us 10 items, okay? We need to do something. We need to create a list, an array. An array is a fancy word for list in computer speak, right? In nerd speak. But we need to take these 10 items and consolidate them into one, because we need to do a few things. I need to be able to pick a random number between 1 and 10, or 0 and 9. We'll talk about that here in a second. And I need to be able to make that random every single time. So the first thing we're going to do is aggregate this list. So if I search for aggregate, that's going to combine a field from many items into a list in a single item. So let's go ahead and do that and test this step. Okay, and it failed because we didn't select the correct setting up here, all items into a single list. So I'll go ahead and switch that and try again. And there we go. So now we have a single item. If I pop out here, you see we went from 10 items to 1 item. Kind of an advanced topic, but I'm gonna break this down here. So let's come back here to our drawing board, and I'm gonna let you know what just happened, and we'll use some sample data here. So let's come and find some white space, and here's what happened. Anytime you see square brackets like this, this is what's known as an array. And so let's see. Let's use real names here. We have Joshua, Jill, and Jeffrey, all J's. Joshua, Jill, Jeffrey. That's not how you spell Jeffrey. All right, Joshua, Jill, and Jeffrey, and then all the others are in here. Now, the reason I want to show you guys this is because there's a fundamental concept here that is very important for you to understand. And there is a very important number that is involved here, and that's 0. To humans, 0 is not a number. Or maybe it should be, but 0 is not a number. But here, for computers, 0 is a number. All right, that's very important to understand. I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But 0 is a real number. If 0 is in your bank account, it's a real number. I promise you'll know. All right. So when you have an array here, let's see if I can get my pen to work. When you have an array, pen? Do you work? Yep, you work. Cool. When you have an array, you have different positions inside of an array, okay? And those positions are 0, starts with 0, you have 1, and then you have 2, okay? And then the list goes on. But it's important to understand that 0 is a number, because if we started from 1, then Joshua would not be entered into the drawing to win. Okay, because these different positions, these mappings, these are like coordinates inside of the list, are important to understand. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. And so for our annual members, the OG annual members, there's 54 of them. Who can guess what the last number, the last index? These are called indexes. These are indexes or indices. I don't know. I'm not a math major, but these are indexes, right? So Joshua's 0, Jill's 1, Jeffrey is 2. Who can guess? Let's see. Let's come on over here. OG annual members. Jamie Fernandez, he's got row number 55, okay? Let's subtract the first one. So there's 54 items. Who can guess what the last index is? Lisa says 55. No, it's not 55. Who can guess what 0 is a number, remember. So there's 54 people and 0 is a number. 0 counts. 54. Alex, that's a great guess. That's what I would have said. 53. Alex said 53. That's correct, okay? Because think about it. If 0 is a number, then 0 counts. And if we come in here and we look over here, how many numbers are there here? There's actually 3 numbers. You have number 1, number 2, number 3. It's not intuitive. It's not intuitive. It's not meant to be. I don't think they did it on purpose. Maybe they did. I don't know. Revenge of the Nerds or something. But it's very important to understand that concept for this random number generator, because we don't want Josh to be left out of the drawing, okay? Very important. Is 0 the headers? So that's a good question, Lisa. 0 is not the headers. However, if the headers were included in this, like the output data, you see how we have the output data here, and maybe it's easier if I look at it. Yeah, right here. So here's all the data that was returned whenever we pulled the database. N8N's smart enough to remove the headers. It removed the headers for us. But if it did include the headers, you're correct. 0 would be the headers. And so it's already removed for us. We don't have to worry about it. That was a good question. All right, cool. So what do we have to do next? Let me try to remind myself. I have notes here too. All right, now we need to pick a winner. Okay, so we have data. We have it all aggregated into one. But we're going to do some public math, which is crazy because I'm not too good at math. But we're going to do some public math together. Okay, we need to pick a random number. We need to pick a random number between 0, because 0 is a number, and in this case, 9, right? Because that's 10 numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10 numbers, okay? Got 10 fingers. All right, so we need to use functions. So inside of N8N, inside of JavaScript, inside of Python, all these different coding platforms, there are pre-built functions, and N8N provides you some pre-built functions as well. And so I'm going to break this down for you here in a second. So let's see, random number. Let's pick a random number. And if I come in here and I click on expression, it will allow me to sort of execute some code or execute some function inside of this value so that that function can be dynamically filled or different every single time. You can put variables in here. So like data that was executed previously, like this aggregate column, we can fill in that data in the next node here, like we are right now, or we can perform pre-built functions. So one thing we need to use is a function called math.random. And I will show you what that does. And if I just click test, you see it filled out right here. It might be a little bit hard to see, but if I test this step, and I'm going to test it over and over again, you see this math right here, 0.892, whatever, all those decimal positions. If I do it again and do it again and do it again, it's going to be a random number, but there is a recurring theme. That random number is between 0 and just below 1, okay? It's never going to be 0 exactly, and it's never going to be 1 exactly, but it's somewhere in between, and it's this large decimal value. All right. How does that help us? Well, it's a random number. It's our, if I was an algebra teacher, and I haven't taken algebra in a while, but that's like our, I don't know, is that our, it's not constant because it's variable. I don't know. It's part of our equation, right? It's a random number. Next thing we need to do is we need to multiply that by something, okay? So if I come into, let me come into my notes here. We're going to multiply it, and that value needs to be, it needs to be the length of the data that we have coming in. So the rows, the amount of rows, right? And so I'm going to create a new, variable here, and then we'll piece it all together here in a second. But let's see if we can see the list length. So remember, for the OG members, there was a list of 54 people. And for the sample data, we had a list of 10, right? So let's see if we can find the list length. So if I just pop open my expression, give my double squiggly brackets, $JSON. $JSON refers to the data that comes from the node just before this. Okay, so JSON.data. So if you see here in our preview, we have all the data that came from the last node, which is our list of sample data. Then there's a handy dandy little pre-built-in function or method, whatever you want to call it, that gives us the length of that list, which is 10. Cool. So now we have, and that will never change. Let's go ahead and refresh this a bunch of times. So you see the random numbers changing, but the length isn't changing. Okay. Unless we added something and we repulled the database, that length is not going to change. Now, when we change the sheet to our actual OG members, that length is going to change to 54. And at that point, we will have a number. Okay. So now we have our random number and we have our length, and we should just be able to multiply the two. So let's see, multiplication station. So if I change this to expression, double squiggly brackets, and I take math.random and then a little asterisk for times $JSON.data.length. Now we have a random number. And let's see, it should always be, it might be a little bit over 10 if we keep doing this, right? I'm not gonna keep refreshing this ad nauseum, but we have a random number, all right? Somewhere between 0 and maybe like 10 point something. I don't know. I'm not a mathlete. Comment in there if you think that we can break it, but there's actually another function that we can apply to this. And that function is called float. And what float can do is essentially round down for us. And so if we use a function called float, sorry, not float, floor, not float, floor. Float is what the random number is giving you, floor. So if we use floor, we can come up with a random number, and it's going to be a whole number. And so I'm just trying to think about this out loud. So let's see if I can make this work. Math.floor, and we have to take this and cut it and put it in our parentheses here. Ooh, there we go. So if you look at this, you see this multiplication station? Pay attention to that. Every time I refresh, it changes. And I have a whole number now. That's a 0. Zeros are good because we need Joshua to be in the drawing. We have an 8. I'm going to do it a few more times just to make sure we don't get an 11. If we get an 11, we're in trouble because we don't have an 11th person. Awesome. Okay, cool. So it looks like it's working. So now we multiplied a random number that was between 0 and just below 1. And then we have the list length, which was 10. And then we rounded down using the floor function. Okay. All right. Why did we do all that? Well, this number is very important. If you were paying attention earlier, this guy, this 4, might just correlate with the position that we're going to choose in our list. Now, I only had 3 people here, but let's say that number was 3. We're going to randomly generate that position, or the list, 2. We're going to randomly generate that position, and we're going to select that position from the list. And so that's how this random number generator is going to work. I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to check the comments. Let's see. Juliet's still trying to sign up for, Juliet, you're still trying to sign up for annual. Here's how you upgrade if you're already a member. And if you're not a member, you can scan the QR code or go to my Automation Station Premium. Somebody in the chat help her out so she can win a Lightbook. Should you multiply a random number, the variable, instead of generating 2 random numbers? We're not really generating 2 random numbers. I'm showing this as an example. We're breaking it out, but really all this is going to be one thing right here, right? I'm just showing that right now, breaking it out for you guys, just so you understand how the random number generator is actually working. Would it ever be the last contact since 1? Let's see. Would it ever be the last contact since it will never be 1? Yeah, it will. Because since it's never 1, right, we can still multiply. Let's see. If we multiply 0.8 times 10, what happens there? Let's use your calculator here. Let's see if we can get this. Calc. So 0, let's say the number was 0.8 times 10. That's 8. What if it was 0. I see what you're saying. 99999 times 54, 53.9. No, that'll work. So because like we have 54 items in the list, right? Between 0 and 53, those are the index. We have 54 items in the list. So 54 is technically the last one, but really their number is 53. Their position in the list is 53. It's not 54. Why? Because 0 is a number. And so because we round down, if this was actually what we got, the position would be 53, which would be the last contact. So Alex, that was good. That was a good question. But we solved for it in the logic here. So let's see. What else do we got? There you go. Alex got it. Alex just clicked. He had a light bulb moment. There you go. Sweet. Yep. Weird. This chat isn't posting things. It's posting things that I didn't type. Sorry, Chad. The chat, it's AI. Maybe it's AI driven. All right, cool. Let's go back to the build. All right, so now we have our random number. We understand how it works, but now we actually have to like apply it to picking a person. So we have to actually fill in the data, right? So let's go ahead and let's delete this stuff because we don't need it to work. Let's call this the winner column. And so the winner column is going to be an expression. Let's make it an object because we have a few pieces of information. We have a row number, first name, last name. So you'll see why here in a second, but we just want to make sure that we get all that information about the winner. And so if we come in here and we say JSON data, okay, and then the way you pick an index, okay, the way you pick a specific index. So number 1 is Patricia Miller here. I think this is the index 0. And if you see right here, data, square bracket 0, square bracket 1, square bracket 2, that's their position numbers right here that we talked about, okay? So let's say if I wanted to pick Patricia, I would say 0 and then test this step. You see that the results are Patricia Miller. Now let's try 3 just for a random example and not being in sequence. We think that'll be Jeffrey, right? Here's Jeffrey. Okay, so this is what we need to fill in with a random number between our range of 0 and 10 or 0 and 54 whenever we do this for real. So all that work we did, we need to put it in these little square brackets right here. All right, so we're going to say math.floor. All right, and then we're going to say math.random times JSON data length. Okay. And we need to close the parentheses. There we go. All right. God, that's tough. All right, here we go. So we got JSON data, which is our list, and then we're filling in our index to position in the list with a random number. Everything we just worked towards. This is confusing stuff. You don't need to know this to sell voice AI agents to somebody, okay? But these are fundamentals. These are things that you don't necessarily need to understand, random number generator, right? But manipulating data, selecting data out of a list. You know, you might need to choose whether it's a pepperoni pizza, a cheese pizza, pineapple pizza, and that might come in the form of a list from an API. All right, we didn't talk about APIs here, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. And so if you go and like query a menu and it returns the data type of array or a list, well, now you know how to select specific things in that list. It is a fundamental of any sort of automation, whether you're doing code or no code. And so if I test this step over and over, I should get a new winner every single time here. So let's see, Joshua Wagner, Robert, yep. Cool, it worked. And as a matter of fact, Robert on one of those last executions was row 11. Robert was the last person in our list here, right? Robert Johnson. And so that further answers your question, Alex. It's working. Cool. All right, now I thought that was fun, but some of you guys might not think that's fun. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a script for our AI agent to read out the winner. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put another set field in here just so we can create a little field that we can refer to later. And let's call it script. And the script is going to be a string. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch to expression because we want to be able to put variables in here. But let's announce the winner. I have one pre-built here. And so I'm just going to, let's take this test script away. Let's say, hey, this is a test script. Let's say let's just leave it at that. This is to announce the winner. This video is to announce the winner of the MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is, and now we need to put a name. So remember earlier when I was talking about N8N and variables and being able to access previously executed data? Well, we have over here on the left-hand side, we have our previously executed data. And some of that data is the winner column, that object that we chose. So Jeffrey, I can just drag and drop Jeffrey, space, first name, last name, Lawrence. Jeffrey Lawrence is the winner right now. We're mid-development. Right now, he'd be the winner. But when we run this again, Jeffrey might not be the winner, right? If we roll the dice again. So if I go ahead and test this step, we have our script that we can pass over to our AI agent that it can read a specific message that we tell it. But one thing is weird about this script. And these dash n's right here, \n, \n, \n. Can anybody in the chat tell me what those \n's are? What do they mean? Edwin, you came in just after the 100, but you will be included in the next list. You will be there. Trust me. New line. Escape. Yep, escape is the \. Good. It could be in some languages. Good job, Alex. But yeah, new line. It's a new line character. Okay. So if I pass this script with the new line characters inside of the script, then our agent, our AI fake avatar is going to read -n or like NN. And so we need to remove that. So we need to further manipulate data. Another fundamental, manipulating data, filtering data, taking out, replacing characters, one character with another character. So let's come over here. And let's create another set field. I should name these. I'm typically pretty good. Let's say this is select winner. Rename this. This is rough draft of our script. And then we need to further modify this script because we have OCD. And so edited script. And this is going to be an expression. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop this whole script. And then I'm going to use, and you notice that the ends don't show up here. You might be fooled to think that like the new lines are gone. They're not. We're going to use this, and we're actually going to replace the new lines with a blank space. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. And let's go ahead and use the dot replace and use ChatGPT. This is what's called regular expressions. We're gonna feed in a matching pattern. So we're gonna tell N8N, hey, go look for anything, kind of like your finder. If you do Control F, you're probably using some semblance of regular expressions, but you're saying, hey, search for this specific pattern in the text, and then furthermore, we're going to tell it replace it with something. Okay, and so to do that, we're going to use / and then I'm going to say \n because that's the pattern that we're looking for, and then I'm going to put a plus sign. The plus sign means, hey, if it occurs multiple times, just go ahead and match multiple times. And we're going to do this globally. And that's what that means. And you see right here, undefineds popped up. Okay, that's interesting. So that tells me that the search function is working because it just found this -n pattern. And regular expressions are so frustrating. ChatGPT is your friend. Paste this into ChatGPT, tell it to explain to you like you're 5. And if you're trying to do something with regular expressions, if you have to find like a pesky comma or something that's not making sense, and you want to remove it, talk to ChatGPT. It's going to help you out. All right. So here we have a bunch of undefineds, which tells me that's where the new lines were, and that's where it's found. But if you look at the documentation here, we have the pattern, which we just created, which is the new line, plus if it happens again, match on that. And then we need to say comma and the replacement. What are we going to replace it with? So if I put comma, if I replace it with a blank space, there you go. Now all the new lines were replaced with a blank space. Perfect. Now our voice agent won't actually say -n or \n or NNN. Okay, cool. So that is how we edited script. Let's make sure we test it. See if we actually, there you go. The new lines are gone. Okay, so in our previous node, we had new lines. And then in our next node, we don't have new lines. So we're getting there. All right, last thing we need to do is we need to send this message over to our API in order to create the AI avatar video. But let's save. We haven't saved in a while. And let's just go ahead and test this entire execution to make sure it works and it doesn't error out. All right, let's see what happened here. So we have Jill Rhodes, who's a winner. Let's do it again. Let's make sure Jill Rhodes doesn't get selected again, even though she can get selected again if it's truly random. Jeffrey Lawrence, cool. Lisa Smith, cool. One more time for good measure. Lisa Smith won twice. Lisa, go play the lottery. All right, cool. So it's working. Now we need to integrate an API, another fundamental of working with N8N and any sort of no-code automation. We need to tie this program that we just created, this no-code program, into an API, which is a service called HeyGen. Okay, if you're not familiar with HeyGen, it's powerful. I'm not affiliated with them, but essentially you can use all these AI avatars to sort of generate AI generated content. It's how all these people are doing it on YouTube. Maybe not using HeyGen, but using something similar to this. But HeyGen has an API, okay? And their API, if you just search HeyGen, HeyGen API, you'll land on this page, and we have documentation. And you might be asking, well, Justin, if they have like an interface like this that I understand, then why don't I just like come in here and do it? Well, it wouldn't be automated if you did that, okay? It wouldn't be programmatic if you did that. So instead, what we're going to do is we need to make two programs talk to each other. Remember earlier I said N8N is like the glue between two programs. Well, we have Google Sheets. That's one program that we're putting into N8N. We're doing something with that data. We're translating it. And then we're talking to HeyGen, the second program. So N8N, excuse me, is our glue in that situation, our interpreter, our translator. All right, enough of that. So Brandon looks pretty cool, but I don't think I selected Brandon. All right, cool. So come here in the API references. This is API documentation in all of its glory. And every single application you use that has an API, an open API, should have documentation just like this. Some are not perfect. Some have errors. Some have typos. Some are never updated. It's very frustrating. But the more you work with APIs, the more you will learn how to troubleshoot this stuff, okay? So if I come over here, you look at a bunch of stuff here on the left. These are called endpoints. These are called endpoints. These are essentially little listeners on the other end where HeyGen's sitting. All their servers are like just waiting for somebody to hit this endpoint, to send a message to this endpoint with specific data so it can do something. You're going to trigger an action. This is their trigger, this form of trigger. And I'm going to focus in here on create an avatar video because that's what we're trying to do here. We're creating an avatar video. And this stuff is not intuitive to read. It is. I'm not going to go and kind of bore you with the details, but there's a few important components, right? They tell you, hey, this is the information you need. This is the type of data it is, a string, a float, maybe an array, and then a brief description. But the cool thing about HeyGen's API documentation and some API documentation has this functionality is they allow you to sort of build this API call live right here. And so we're going to do that together. And it's very useful. I'll show you how to use this. So let me pull up my notes here just so that I could speed run through this. We've been doing this for a while, so I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk, but captions, true. Okay, we're going to turn the captions on. All right, whether or not to enable captions in the video. Sure, let's turn the captions on. Title, what's the title of this video? Let's see, winner. Let's see, the winner is, cool. We'll name that, yeah, that's fine for the title. Now, dimensions. So you see it's required here. So what are the dimensions? The dimensions of the video are 1280 by 720. I think that's 1080p, right? So cool, we'll leave it at that. And as a matter of fact, I'm on the free plan, so I think I can't go any higher than that anyway. Video inputs. So for video inputs, we need a few things. So we need the character. So the character is the avatar from here, okay? And I already have one selected. And so I'm just going to go ahead and copy the one I have selected. But if you didn't have one selected, you came in here and we clicked on Conrad. And let's say we liked this version of Conrad, right? We watched it. All you have to do is copy avatar. Well, not the group ID. Let's come over here and see. Did I select avatars? Yeah, give me the avatar. Brandon. They must have just changed their interface. But let's see. We have Brandon. What are the different? I was just on a different one where I was able to like pick the actual avatar ID, which is interesting. Where are you? Oh, give me Brandon. Okay, cool. Let's pick this. Give me the avatar ID. Good thing I copied the avatar ID. Oh, I don't want to submit this. I just want to browse avatars. I must be on a different interface because I don't want to copy the group ID. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I'm very interested. 54 looks. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Either way, there's a way to copy the avatar ID. I'm not going to focus on that here, but essentially, what you'll have is a bunch of different views for people, like sitting on the couch or sitting outside. And if you click the three dots, there is an avatar ID. They must have just changed it. That's fine. I have one copied already, so hopefully it works. And let me go ahead and copy this over here. And let's go back into our API documentation, and it's looking for the avatar ID. So I'm just going to paste it, and that. So you see it's filling it out right here. Lezek sitting lounge front. That is the avatar ID. All right. That's cool. For the settings, we'll have normal scale is 1. That's fine. Next thing we need to do is we need to pick a voice. Okay. We need to pick a voice and voice IDs. Let's see if I can at least find the voice ID. Let me get my mouse again. Voice IDs can be found in here. So if we look at voices, let's say we like that voice, Millennial Molly. You can't hear my audio right now because I'm sharing my entire screen. When we announce the winner, I'll share my tab. But I just hover over here and I get voice ID. Okay. Let's say we're using Millennial Molly. That'd be cool. However, I already have one that aligns with whatever his name is. Levick. Come in here. We're going to paste our voice ID. Where are you? Voice object. Voice ID. Paste. There we go. We got our voice ID. String. Okay, we need to type something in here. What do we want the voice to say? This is a test message. Awesome. So now we have pretty much a structured API call. That's all the required stuff we need. Okay, I'm not going to test it because that's going to take it's going to take a credit from me. But if I come in here, I can literally just copy this. Right? There's a little copy icon. I can copy this whole API call, and inside of N8N, I can add an HTTP node. Okay, and let's say create AI video. And then you see this handy dandy import from curl button. I'm going to go ahead and click that and paste and then just import. Once I do that, all the settings get created for me. And everything that I just saw inside of this API tool just got imported into N8N just like that. If you had to build it from scratch, it wouldn't be that hard to build from scratch, just referencing this API documentation. Again, ChatGPT is your friend. Give this link to ChatGPT and say, hey, I need to create an AI video. Help me do this. And you'll have to just go through it a few times. Now, there's a few things here that we need to understand. So API key, we need an API key. If you don't know what an API key, it's like your username and password, but for a system. And so if I come in here and I go to subscriptions and API, HeyGen API, you see I have an API token. I just copy that token, okay? I'm not going to paste it here in front of you guys because some of you guys will steal my credits, and I don't want that because it'll cost me money. But we're going to go ahead and delete this. And instead, what I'm going to use is a predefined credential. So here in the authentication section, I'm going to select general credential type. I'm going to select header authentication because we're in the header down here. And then let's go ahead and create a new one. I'm just going to show you what a new one looks like. And in here, we can name it MacBook test. And you notice that it's telling us the header is X API key. Okay, so that's the name of the value that we need. So if I just copy that and put it in the name X API key, just as it appears, that will be sufficient. And then the next thing I need to do is paste my API key in here. Now I told you I'm not going to expose my API key because I don't feel like deleting a new one. But if you copied and pasted, it would look like some weird key, just like that, bunch of random numbers, and then you would click save. Okay, I already did that, and I have one created, and so I'm just going to exit out of this. And I'm going to select my HeyGen API key, and then I can just remove this from the header, okay? Next thing, we have this other header. This wouldn't break anything, but fundamentals, understanding this. This is saying accept application JSON. Well, just so that you know, when we select the body content JSON, this automatically gets put in, and so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that too, so we have no header parameters. If you left that in there, you wouldn't break it. I'm going to pause there just for questions. Cool. Paste the curl. Hey, Justin. Making a personal AI assistant. Awesome. Sweet use. Great news. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, this is good. So what's cool about like these agents, these avatars, like think about like a chiropractor, right? Like let's say, or a dentist, they get an appointment. It'd be cool to like generate an AI video. You could personalize these AI videos and make them replicate you. And so say you like replicate the dentist and then you just send personalized like welcome messages. You can play with that. It'd be pretty cool. So now we have our API call. But let's come in here into our message because we put some like mock data in here, and we don't want mock data. We want real data. And so if I switch to expression here and pop this open, there is some opportunity to put some variables in here. And so the title, I'll leave the title as the winner. I don't want to put the name in the title because I don't want to give away the name, but our script right here, type. That's not. Let me see. That doesn't look right. Let me make sure that that's correct. Let's see. In the voice, yeah, type's not right. That's wrong. So we actually need input text. Okay, and so that's fine. I'll change it here. I'll modify this. So type is going to be text. Let's come back over here. So our type is going to be set to text. And then I'm going to add a comma, press enter, tab over a little bit. JSON is not the most delicate, but it's pretty delicate. If you screw up the formatting, it's going to break. Okay, so you use ChatGPT again. Send this to ChatGPT, say, hey, is this valid JSON? If not, fix it for me. Okay. Next thing we need is input text. So input underscore text. And no, I didn't just make that up. Right over here, you see input underscore text and the text that we want to give to the AI avatar. So let's go ahead and give it a colon because that's how everything else looks, double quotes. And the input text is actually going to be a variable, our script. That's what I want the avatar to read. And if you see over here on the right-hand side, it filled it out for us. Now we have the voice ID, and then let's add an emotion. So we have emotions here. Yeah, let's add excited. What's that look like in here? Emotion, excited. Let me just copy this. Let's see how exciting our bot can be. I picked a boring one. Tab, 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 paste. So we have emotion, exciting. Notice I don't have a comma at the end. Whenever you're done in JSON, done like defining a list of things, you don't need a comma on the last one. All right, cool. So we have this. This should work. Let's go ahead and test this. Let's test this all the way through. I'm not going to wait for the video to generate because I actually want to announce the winner. I know you guys are probably getting antsy. So let's go ahead and test this workflow. So we're executing it. We're sending it over, and it looks like we got a green check mark. Okay. Error, no. All right. Let's see. Is that good? Let's go back here. Look at that. We have something generating right here. 14% ready. So that takes a few minutes. Awesome. It works. All right. Now time to feed it real data. I'm not going to wait for this to finish because I want to actually do this with a real person. So let's go and check the chat real quick. Let's check the chat. Would you use ChatGPT for instructions over Perplexity? I know ChatGPT is out of date. I use both. Let's see. Give Michael buffer voice. You've given me so much value. I genuinely appreciate it. As a token of my gratitude, I will love to make a website for you. That's a pitch. Thanks, agent. You're awesome. All right, cool. Eli 5 for the win. Yep. All right, cool. Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead. We have our school database of our OGs. I'm going to pull the database again whenever we give away the second MacBook Air. But right now, I'm going to stick with what we have, the OGs. These were the first annual members that were part of the first 100 members. Once we crossed the 100 threshold, I downloaded this list. So if Eddie came in, I think he was like 101 or 102. Don't worry, Eddie, you're going to be in the next drawing, and you are an annual member, so you're good to go. And anybody who joined on the stream, live data, I'll tell you when to stop. Like, don't join after a certain point. I'll tell you because you won't be in the drawing, or you can join and be part of the community. But all right, let's do this. All right, so we have our end-to-end workflow. Let's come in here. The only thing that changes in this workflow, we did all the hard work already, is what sheet we're looking at. So let's look at the sample sheet and let's look at the OG annual member. So if I test this step, I should have OG annual members listed, and we have 6 pages of them. There you go. I removed your email addresses because I don't want you to be doxxed. Let's save this and let's get ready to go. All right. So drum roll, please. All right, let's do it. It's going to take 3 minutes after we do it anyway. So all that build up for no reason. Here we go. So we're testing it. It pulled 54 items. It moved it down to 1. I'm not going to open these nodes because these nodes are going to have the winner selected. So at this point, somebody in the group has won. So let's come into our HeyGen and let's refresh this. We have another one generating. Let's look at our test one while we wait. Oh, you're not gonna be able to hear that. So let me share. Hold on. Let me share my tab. So let me remove this stream, and then let's add. Stop screen sharing. Screen share. Let's share a HeyGen tab. Share the audio. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you guys hear that? Put a yes in the chat if you can hear it. There's a little bit of a delay here. So yes in the chat if you can hear it, or in the comments. I'll play it again. Boom. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, we got some no's. You can hear me. Ooh, can't hear it. Okay. Please turn on audio again. Nope. No YouTube volume audio. Okay, 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 okay. Interesting. That might be a technical issue that we're gonna have to work through. So they can only hear me. But can you see the video? There's closed captions. So we might have to rely on our closed captions. And I'll announce it as well. I can hear it on my end. It's just gonna be a limitation of StreamYard. Can't even see your screen. Oh, okay. Boom. How about now?
MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Joshua Walker. This video is to announce the winner of the MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Joshua Walker.
Okay. I'm seeing some okays rolling. Boom, boom, boom. Alex, all right, cool. We fixed it. We troubleshot. All right. Tech is hard. Awesome. All right. So by this point, let's see. Who do we have? Oh, we're 31% done. So let me take over here. Joshua Walker. Joshua Walker doesn't exist. It's not Joshua Walker. No. That's a fake person. Yeah, Joshua won. Joshua won. All right, we're still waiting. Oh, the winner came in. Let me see. Let me answer some questions real quick before we play that other video. Somebody said, I thought it was the first 100 members. Yeah, so it was the first 100 members, but it was annual members only. Okay, so this MacBook's going away to an annual member. Those people invested time and money into coming into a brand new community, and I wanted to reward them. And so if you became an annual member during this stream or after the first 100 members, I'm going to download that list. We're going to give away a second one. So you still have time to come in. These take about 3 minutes to generate. All right. So who's ready? Who's ready? Say ready in the comments. Ready. Joshua. Dang, there's somebody in here named Joshua, of course. All right, let's go. This is the winner.
This video is to announce the winner of the MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Sean Gambardella.
Sean, is that a real person? I think it is. The name sounds familiar. Let's see. Who's Sean? Let's look at Sean. Sean, you're the winner. Please tell me you're not in yes, you're in San Diego. You're not overseas. Just kidding. Sean, congratulations. If you're not on the stream, don't worry about it. I'm going to contact you after this, and I'll get this sent over your way. You are the winner of a 15-inch MacBook Air, the beefy one. Maybe not the beefiest hard drive, but the beefy one, beefiest RAM and all that stuff. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Congrats, congrats, congrats. All right. Now we're going to do this again. Okay. So I'm going to give 30 seconds. I'm going to give 30 seconds. Let's see if I can add a 30-second countdown. It's going to be the last 30 seconds for people to join. After that, I'm going to pull the database. You're going to give me a few minutes so that I can pull it and abstract all the emails because I don't want people to see the emails. And we're going to run this again. Okay. So let me see if I can add 30-second countdown. All right, super cool. So we had, I'm looking at the list now. We have a few people who upgraded from monthly to annual. Awesome. And then we have a few people who joined. All right, super cool. Now we have, let me pull this out and let me copy and paste this into my Google Sheets. So let me just hit a refresh, make sure we have everybody. There we go. Annual members, newest up first. Awesome. We have a total of, yep, there we go, 60. So we got 4 in here. Sweet. Export this. And so what's cool is the people who were already annual get another shot at winning. So let me go ahead and pop this open. All right. And let me remove emails. Copy this. Let me Let me share my whole screen so you can see what I'm doing, because I don't think I'm sharing my whole screen anymore. Let's stop sharing, share screen, window. Awesome. Add to stage. Here we go. So I'm just coming in here. We're going to duplicate this annual member tab right here. Let's rename this to annual members. Awesome. We go ahead and delete all this stuff and paste. First name, last name. Cool. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and remove formatting. All right, here we go. So we have our new annual members. Don't join. Don't join. Don't join. All right, cool. Done. Let's come in here. Let's modify our workflow to pick our new sheet, which has the updated annual members. And I am going to go ahead and test this, make sure that we get all our updated items. And we have it. Let's go ahead and run this workflow again. Drum roll, please. Worked. Let's go into the AI. Hey, Jen. Looks like the job is running, and we're about 5%, 21% done. In the next 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to announce the second winner of the MacBook Air. Awesome. Awesome. Debbie. Ta-da. Yeah, it's kind of magical. It's kind of magical the way it works. So pretty cool. Let me go ahead and get set up for audio again. Let's come over here, stop sharing, share screen. Hey, Jen, share audio, add to stage. Awesome. Can you guys see that? You see Hey, Jen? Kirsty said she loved the whole build. I love it too. It's nerdy, and most people would be like, "This is terrible. This is watching paint dry." But I think the fundamentals are important. I think understanding how to use this stuff is powerful, and there's a lot of fundamentals in creating a random number generator. It's actually a common project for people trying to learn programming. All right, cool. So we're 21% done here. Let's make sure we can hear. Let's test audio again while we wait.
This video is to announce the winner of the MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Joshua Walker.
Joshua Walker won again. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, I'm definitely going to share this workflow inside of school. I'll share it in the free community as well. So if you're not in the paid community, thanks, Alex. Yeah, if you're not in the paid community, that's fine. I'm going to share it in the free and in the paid. Awesome. Gabe, we can hear it. All right, Gabe, are you going to win? Gabe's an annual member, I'm pretty sure. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We're 25% ready. Hey, Jen's taking its time. Maybe if I was a paid user, it'd be faster. But I guess I'm too cheap. Volume's low. Let's see if I can increase my volume. I'm assuming the build video will be posted. It's just about to ask. Yeah, I'll post a recording, and I think this recording is actually going to be stored on YouTube as well and on Facebook. All right, so we have the winner for the second MacBook Air. And it's 6 seconds, which is kind of weird. Maybe we have a short name. We'll see. All right, here we go.
This video is to announce the winner of the MacBook Air. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Henry Carey.
Henry Carey, you're the winner. Awesome. Henry, I think Henry's one of the newer ones. Congratulations, Henry. Let's see. Who's Henry? Let's give a shout out to Henry. Henry Carey. He didn't fill in his description, but he won a MacBook Air. He is a member at the $570 a year price point, and you just won a MacBook Air. Awesome. Congratulations. You two, I'm going to be contacting you so I can get your addresses, and I'm going to ship you these computers. So congratulations. Thanks for all those who stuck around. There's still 40 people on the stream, which is insane that 40 people want to watch paint dry, but I like you. You're my kind of people. Yeah. Welcome to the annual community if you joined. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Justin-Melendez. And if you are not yet in the free community, go ahead and join that. There's a ton of value in there as well. Till next time, see you guys later. Peace.